So, what if you knew Jesus was hungry? What would you do to feed him? Well, Jesus said, feed the hungry. Good morning, and welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus said comes from Matthew 25, verses 35 through 36. You'll find that at our Bible reading plan at bible.today.church. We're going to be reading today from the New King James Version, and I want to start with verse 34 for a little bit of context, where Jesus said, "Then the king will say to those on his right hand, 'Come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me.' And the king will answer and say to them, 'Assuredly, I say to you, inasmuch as you did it to one of the least of these my brethren, you did it to me.'" I jumped to verse 40 there just to complete the context here. So it's very clear that Jesus said that at the end of all things, it will be evaluated by how we treat the least of these, by how we feed the hungry and clothe the poor and all of those things. So the question is, why aren't we doing that? Now, in the news, wars and rumors of wars, signs of the end. But Jesus also said in Matthew 24 and 25 that another sign of the end would be that lawlessness or iniquity would increase. And there are a lot of big sins in the world, but I don't think that that's exactly what Jesus was talking about. Paul in 2 Thessalonians 3 says before the end that there will be a great falling away first. That would be among believers, falling away from the truth. And what would falling away look like? Well, what does not falling away look like? It looks like obedience. Well, if Jesus said feed the hungry, is that what we are known for? Are we known for taking care of the least of these? Well, if you want to answer to that question, ask someone who doesn't follow Jesus what church people are like. And let me tell you what you won't hear. You won't hear, well, they're all about feeding the hungry, welcoming the stranger, clothing the poor, visiting the sick, going to the prisoner. Unfortunately, often we hear the opposite. Why is that? Well, I think it's because we think following Jesus is about getting our needs met, that it's the preacher's job or the church's job to feed us. I mean, how many times have you heard, well, I'm going to another church because I'm just not being fed? Well, that's not what Jesus meant when he was talking to Simon Peter and told him to feed his sheep. His sheep hear his voice, but they don't just listen to the words, they do what he said. And Jesus said, feed the hungry, not show up to be fed. Actually, Jesus said, I am the hungry, and you either did or didn't feed me. So how do we ignore Jesus? I mean, why do 25,000 people a day in our world die of hunger-related causes, and yet we still ignore what Jesus said? Now, I don't claim to have all the answers or even to be doing all that I can to obey what Jesus said. But we have to stop being content with doing less. We won't stand before Jesus one day to answer for our church attendance or the scriptures we posted with one click from a Bible app or how much we tithed. We're going to have to answer the question, I was hungry, and what did you do? And that's more than just physical hunger. The truth is that people are hungry for the truth. They're hungry for relationships. They're hungry for something real. They're hungry just to be noticed. And Jesus said to feed the hungry. Well, how can you put that into action today? Well, thank you so much for listening. If this is meaningful to you, it does mean a lot when you like it, when you share it, when you comment. I really appreciate you. I hope that you have an amazing day, and I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest the Jesus way. And remember, follow Jesus today. Love first.